What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Trading Learning 101. We got a hot morning here. It is July 18th, a little after 10 a.m., and we have a lot of these low float stocks popping off. We didn't have too much going on pre-market. A lot of stuff was just popping up and just dumping, and nothing really that was catching my eye. The only one I seen that was good was CPAH. It has news. It released news just before 9 a.m. of a of a signing of a contract. So it was up on light volume, and it announced signing of a deal with leading contract center solutions provider to deploy company's hosted Strato platform. And the only thing that concerned me was a little bit is nothing pre-market had volume. There was no volume pre-market. But then as soon as the market opened, all these tickers just started exploding. CPAH, MTSL, STAF, PRPO, and I really wanted to get in on CPAH here, but it just would not pull back on me or pull back for me, and I don't want to buy in on something that's already up, 70 cents, 50 cents, and have it just drop on me. Especially when you're going to be getting in with big share size. If you get in, let's say, with 3,000 shares, and you don't know if you're buying in at the top and it drops 50 cents, that's a $1,500 loss. Also, in the morning, it's very, very, very volatile. So you really don't know which way it's going to keep going. And let's zoom in on it right here. So for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes here, and it seemed like the longest 5 minutes ever, this just kept making new highs. And I wanted to, but I didn't want to pull the trigger because it wouldn't give me a pullback. And then when it finally did pull back right here, I said, all right, maybe this will pull back and consolidate for a second and then maybe go on another boom. But it just simply pulled back once and then it just kept going off to the races, and it ran for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes making new highs. But this was a great play right here. Very great play. The only thing that, yeah, you could say, well, yeah, why don't you just buy the pullback right here? You could, yeah. You could see clearly it bounced right off the VWAP right here. And it kept running. But when it pulls back like that, you don't know if momentum is just going to die off with that pullback, because we're only 6, 7 minutes into the market open. And that's like the most volatile time during the market is the first 15 minutes of the market. And I've literally seen stocks jump up 50 cents and then dump really, really hard $1. And imagine buying in at the top of that. So I like to wait and let stuff set up, like I said before, to increase my reward over my risk. So this would have been beautiful. I really wanted this one right here, but I got in on STAF. We'll go over that one in a second. But this opened at $3.10 and ran all the way up almost to $5. That's a $2 move in 13 minutes at the market open. So there was a lot of potential and a lot of money made right here. And now, as you can see right here, it's pulled back, and it's still holding its gains, and it's gonna be on watch for a lot of traders. And then I also just seen IZEA pop up at this moment. And the thing with that is, like IZEA right here, um, we had 5 stocks popping off this morning. And half an hour into the market, when those 5 stocks are popping off and going big, if a new stock like IZEA pops up like this and it starts making new highs and is hitting the scanner, it's going to be hard for this to actually keep running because a lot of attention is going to be on the first 5 stocks that originally started spiking. So, you know, unless it just kept gradually and gradually and gradually started making new highs, that's when it could get momentum and then, a shot up because it just keeps getting buying and buying and buying and buying, getting more of that momentum to keep going up. And as it pulls traders away from the 5 hot stocks that were spiking this morning into this one, um, that's just a psychology thing you got to take into consideration when um, stocks are popping off on your scanners. So CPAH, very, very, very good on this one. I wanted this one bad, but you do not want to force trades and you do not want to chase. Look at this was up 200, I want to say 200, but that's just the price thing. 40% from the open, which isn't bad, but that's $2, And CPAH, like I said, it has news, credible news. And look at that. So the stock I traded today was STAF. And this has no news. It's just a low flow that was getting a good bounce. And that's why I like trading these low flow plays, because once it gets momentum and it's a low flow, the price is just going to rip. And you could take advantage of that and make a lot of money doing that. We'll go over my trade right here. Let me pull up my P&L here. So today on this, I made $244. So if you tuned in on Monday, the last time I traded was Monday. Monday I took a loss for $218. And so today I made back what I lost Monday plus a couple bucks. So I'm green on the week, but by a couple bucks. So if you look at the daily chart here, let me pull this up. I'll go 3 months by the day. So this is recently. This is the daily chart, and this is the intraday chart. Now on the 9th, this ran from $1.80 to $5.65. That's a big move. Big move. And then as you see here, it just kept pulling back and pulling back and pulling back. And all this is just a good bounce. That's all this is. And I like looking for plays like this, especially when it's a low flow. We call it the mid-candle breakout. So after a stock spikes really big one day, for the next couple days after this day, we're looking for this to have a good bounce after it sells off. So this started moving up slowly here to the $3 area right here. And I'm playing the mental resistance and support. So if it's coming up to a $3 area, I'm predicting it to surge up through the $3 and have a nice pop up. It's a low float. So it opens at 250, and what I noticed was it was slowly getting momentum. As you can see, it popped up. It popped up from 250 up to 275, and then it pulls back, and then it pops up to 287, and just slowly started grinding a little harder. So I accidentally bought in on this, to tell you the truth. I had my mouse on the buy button, and I'm watching it. I think I put too much pressure on my mouse because I was waiting for a pullback right here, but that pullback never happened. So I guess I got lucky in a way. So I got in right here at 293, and when it popped up to a high of 335. So you see how fast that is? That's when you take advantage of that. You buy in anticipating the break of the whole dollar. And when it breaks that whole dollar, it's going to surge up 315, 325. So I immediately sold half my position at 318. Right here. Try selling into strength. When you sell into strength, you'll get a better fill. If you sell into weakness, you're just going to get a horrible fill. Am I happy the way I executed this trade? I would say 75%. I'm satisfied. I did get sloppy with it. So as soon as I sold half at 318, I let it pull back. And when it pulled back, it bounces almost by this VWAP, and it bounces at the whole dollar, $3, and then it jumps up and makes a high of 344, and I sold 250 shares at 336. And then I said, okay, let's let the last 250 shares run. So it just died off in momentum. It really did. And I let this drop. This is where I got sloppy. I let this drop from 44 cents all the way down to $3. Now with 250 shares, it's $125 in a minute. I just let, get away from me because I got greedy. So I said, all right, if this breaks $3, I'm done. I'm out. And sure enough, it broke the $3, so I just sold it. And then when I sold it, it dropped down to a low of 275. And then look at it, it starts to U-shape around back up, hit a high of 315, 316. And this is still going to be on watch for some traders because it's a low flow and it's surrounded near its highs. So that was my trade today on STAF. And then another one we had pop off was MTSL. This is another low flow. This is a very, very low flow. This is a 1.7 million float here. And as you can see, it's coming up to the highs. Look at it just grinding right here. It's just grinding and grinding and grinding up, making higher lows, just squeezing. It's squeezing itself right now. But how you would play this is play the trend line. When it comes down to the trend line, if it when it comes down to this trend line, if it breaks, you would sell. Watch this. Watch the ask here get ate up. Watch all these big shares pop up. What you want to look for this to break out is on the ask here. You want to see the shares get eaten up, and you want to see buying. You want to see bid stacking right here. You want to see shares stacking up. You want buyers to come in here, stack up on the bid, and eat away at this ask. Now watch too, as it comes up to the high, you will see flashes of big share sizes. More than likely, that's shorts trying to flash a huge size to scare away buyers because they do not want it to go up more. They want it to go down. Shorts make money as the stock goes down. So watch here. So when it comes down to the trend line here, if it comes down to the trend line, watch the bid stack up right here. When the bid stacks up at the trend line, that means there's a lot of buyers trying to hold this up to keep it going. I'm telling you, if you learn level 2, it'll take you to the next level in your trading. It really will. You need level 2. Even just practicing level 2. You know, when the market's active and going on, see all these bids here stack up, but they're just getting ate up. They're getting ate up. It's going to drop. A lot of people are hitting the bid. Get me out, which is taken away from this. And remember to compare it here on the time and sales. Don't always just look at the level 2. You always have to compare this with the time and sales. Because remember, people can manipulate the level 2 here. There could be someone saying look at all this green. There's a lot of buying, so they're going to be taking out the ask. So you got 3,300 shares here at 355. You'd want to see this guy get chipped away. And if he gets chipped away real fast, you'll see a pop up. Watch. But if his shares are sitting there and you see a lot of buying and his shares count of 3,500 is still sitting there, that means he's hiding his size. He's got a huge size and he's just unloading his shares. That's the crazy manipulation of level 2, but you can take advantage. There's 11,650 buyer right there, but you also have to think if there's that 11,000 buyer, then there's 11,000 seller. So who's selling? Look at that. You just see 270 pop up right here on the ask. That's 27,000 shares that popped up there on the ask. So let's see what happens here. Coming up down to the trend line. A stock yesterday just did this exact, or the other day did this exact same thing. It started off on a trend line, and then through the whole day, it just kept holding the trend line, and it went up like $3 or $4. This is the fun thing about the market. Observing the level 2 and the time and sales, glancing at the chart and looking at chart history to see if it's coming up to resistance areas. This thing has a lot of trouble here at $4, as I can see. So real quick, I'm going to do this to show you guys. If you look here, this is the $4 area right here. You see how many times in the past this has come up. See these long wicks right here? Those are spikes up, but then it drops right back down. So this does not hold its gains. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 times it's come up to $4 and really could not break $4. You can see it right there, right there, right there, and right there. So you would want to put a line right here at $4. And when it comes up to that $4, that's a lot of other traders will be seeing that and selling. Keeping an eye here on the ask. I keep seeing big sizes pop up but then disappear. So I'm seeing a lot of selling though here on the time and sales. Need buyers. The bid is very thin. The ask is very thin. You need buyers to step in. This could go either way at this point. Look at that. Watch this. It's going to break that trend line. It'll either bounce off of it or it's breaking it. And watch, when it breaks that trend line, it's going to dump hard. Watch the bid here to stack up. Just see if there's any buyers trying to save this and hold it up. It's breaking. Alright, look at that. Watch it. Watch it dump. And watch the time and sales here. This has already got 7.5 million in volume. Look at that. As soon as 350 broke, it dropped down to 323. It's a 25-cent drop. Is it going to work its way back up? You got a big seller right here. It's presenting at 344. And then he just disappears. You see that? I'm just seeing a lot of red on the time and sales. A lot of red. A lot of selling. And like I said, this has no news. This is just a low float that's been in play the past week. You got 11,500 right here at 344. You see how he just disappeared? Oh, right, there he is, right there. Someone bought it. Wow. So if you go back and rewind this a little bit, there was 11.5 right here. And then you've seen it just disappear. And then if you look on the time and sales, it'll pop up. Let me see if I can pull it up. Right there. So someone bought that. But you also have to think, if there is a big seller like that selling a big chunk, how much more do they have? I really feel like this is getting squeezed. It's getting squeezed hard. I think shorts are piling into this. And if this gets short squeezed, watch it explode. Now you see, after it broke that trend line right here, now it's having a hard time break back above that trend line, because now that is going to act as a resistance, and it's at a a resistance level, a psychological resistance. Remember, 350, 350, 375, whole dollars. Those are all going to act as support and resistance psychologically. At this point, it could go either way. It could drop down hard or it could go exploding up. Right now, it's that time, like I said before, it's very, very quiet. The time in sales is barely moving. Something big is about to happen. Watch. Something big is about to happen. It's either going to explode up or it's going to explode down. And like I said before, I feel like this is getting squeezed. Shorts are piling in on this. You've seen big buyers pop up here on the bid. You want to see this start stacking up. See, look at these big sellers. You want to see big size pop up on the bid to hold this up. You want buying to step in to keep it going. Look at it. You got a big buyer right there, but then he just disappeared. This is going to break and fall. And here it goes. That VWAP ain't going to save it. And I like just to have the VWAP on here just to see who's in control. If it's above the VWAP, the bulls are in control. If it's below the VWAP, the bears are in control. And a lot of times too, you will see stocks come down and bounce off of it, and you will have it come up and it will act as a resistance wall. I use it because a lot of traders use it. You want to use what a lot of other traders are using. If you're into the Elliott wave and the MACD, go for it. I just don't I don't use it. I like to keep my charts clean. Look at all this selling. All this selling. So remember when I said it was very, very quiet? Something big's about to happen. Now it's selling off. Now let's see if this support right here, where it had over here, will hold. Also, it's a mental support area. Yep. You'll see big orders pop up here on the bid and they'll immediately get disappeared or eaten away. A lot of people are dumping it. You got 2,500 there. But we'll move on. We'll check back on it in a moment. Let's finish the recap. So you got CPAH here. Looks like it's trying to make a U shape. And this is still very much in play. 350 is acting as resistance right now, and it's got support here at $4. Now look at that. You got to put that into the factor when you're trading these. Mental support and resistance levels. Every whole dollar, every 25 cents, every 50 cents is going to act as mental support and resistance. And then you got chart history support and resistance. And then that's when you use the level 2 to your advantage when it comes up to these support and resistance areas. If this work is working its way up to 450, and I see a lot of big sellers here on the bid, and not a lot of buying running through here on the time and sales, it's not gonna break through that 450. Now, if it was approaching 450 and I see big sellers here on the ask, and they're just getting chipped and eaten away, and there's a lot of green on the time and sales here, then it's gonna blow through that and make its next leg up. And also when it's coming up to that and there's a lot of buying, you want to see the bid over here start stacking, big share sizes stacking up. See, look at that. It got a nice little bounce there at $3, up to $3.17 right now. But see, staff came back up to 320. FAMI, this was just a quick pump. It even got halted. There's no news on it. From 440 up to 548. That's a dollar move in 3 minutes. But again, this got halted at just below $5, and when it gapped up to 516, and it ran up to almost 550. Now another hot one this morning was PRPO. And this is the earnings winner. So the company announced at 8:30 this morning that its preliminary quarter 2 results indicating revenue up 14% from the first quarter, and has a good gap up, and right at the open here, right when it opened, didn't even look back. It opened at 54 cents and it ran all the way up to 64 cents. Now, that may not seem like a big move. Look at this thing go. Ran all the way up to 338. And remember, it bounced off at $3 here. So what made that have a big move like that is when this is going down, all the shorts piling in on this. And then when it comes down, the shorts, remember, you got to think in a shorts perspective. So the shorts remembered that this was a support area. So a lot of the shorts are going to start covering. And what do shorts have to do when they get out of their position? They have to buy to get out of their position. And then on top of that, you have all the buyers that are looking to get in this buy as well. This is a very low float stock, 1.7 million. Remember, the lower the float, the bigger the rip. And it's happening at a mental resistance support level right here at a whole number, $3. And look at that. It's got a nice, pretty much 40-cent pop. And it's still looking to maybe pop up a little more. You know, and it's done all that in 3 minutes. You know, that's all the thinking you have to think about when you're doing this, and you have to do it on the fly. You know, you can't be coming up with this. You can't be coming up with all of this right as it's coming up to 350, because then you missed it. It's too late. That's what I love about trading. You always have to stay current and with it, and thinking about what other traders are thinking. Look at the big picture. you know? And look at that, just dump. So back to PRPO. Right at the open bell here, it just ran 10 cents. Now, that may not seem like a big move, but when you're at a penny stock like this, and if you have 10,000 shares of this, because you can buy more shares when it's this at 64 cents. Come on, 10,000 shares, it moves up 10 cents. That's a grand. You know, why not just take that off the table? And then it pulls back and then made a new high to 68. I was just keeping an eye on this. And then I guess yesterday, Bitcoin had a really, really good move up from what I heard. Um, I don't look into cryptocurrency, but I do hear about it. I will look at it from time to time just to look at it. Um, But yeah, Bitcoin had a nice move up, and then that got me into thinking last night, all right, are we going to get back into a Bitcoin trend here? So I would keep an eye on Bitcoin for the next few days and see what it does, and to see if it starts to develop something, because if the big Bitcoin starts rallying and going, there's going to be a bunch of uh what's the word I'm looking for? Sympathy plays that follow behind it. So I know these market recaps in my videos can be very long. I'm sorry guys, but there's a lot to talk about, and when I get into stuff, I really get into it. So, and I feel like I'm giving you guys a lot of good information. I mean, if you watch these videos throughout and watch the whole video, you will be rewarded with, a lot of information. Because when I get into something and talk about something, I try to give it all to you guys. I try to give you 100%. I want to show you guys everything that I know. But CPAH, that's going to be on a lot of people's watch list for the rest of the day. Also MTSL. Look at that move up from this morning at 215 up to a high of 366. Um, Even STAF as it's slowly coming up to the highs. Now you see how it keeps doing this? Those are U-shapes. Those are basic patterns you have to know as a trader. And we call those the U-shaped breakout. Even something like this. Okay. So even something like this, how it makes a U and it comes up and it doesn't really break out and it just touches the resistance here and then drops off and then breaks out. That's what we call a cup and handle. So as you see, we got a U shape right here. It makes the cup, and then when it pulls back again and then it comes back around and up and breaks up, that would be the handle. So a cup and handle. You know what? My next video I'm gonna make, I think I'm gonna make about, you see, I also wanted to make candlesticks for you guys. I wanted to do a candlesticks video. I wanted to do a patterns video. I have a bunch of video ideas, and I am going to start going crazy with these videos. But actually just yesterday I was sitting down and I was making a list of all the video ideas, and I was coming up with over 2 pages of stuff for you guys. But yeah, and then I also have to get into a video editor because I know you guys hate watching these long videos. They are very long, and especially if you're on the go, but if you're looking to study and just sit over the weekend and just study your butt off, these are the perfect videos to get into. Every one of these videos I post are just jammed packed with information. Jammed packed. How I should do it is I should break this up into part 1, part 2. You know, but who would want to watch a market recap, part 1, part 2? I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Are these videos way too long, or do you guys like them? Or should I just try my hardest to make them really, really short for you guys? But I feel like I don't get the point across if I rush. You know, I want to get the point across and make sure I go over everything. I don't have my trade idea scanner up because it makes that noise, but I'll just pop it open real quick to see if anything else popped off, and then if not, we'll call this video good. Okay, ELTK. Okay, this popped up almost $1. Any news on it? No. No news. NFEC. But like I said, guys, nothing was really going on this morning. But then as soon as that bell rang, just all these stocks and tickers just started taking off and going crazy. And there was 5 of them, and I'm just sitting here watching. Thinking there was just too much going on. You know, it's good to, when there's all these stocks taking off at the same time at the morning bell, and you got 4 or 5 of them, you can't really, getting caught up in my words here. You can't really determine which one is gonna be the one and run. Wait, you know, and wait for them to start failing, you know, and then you could start lowering the list and wait for them to pull back and consolidate and start forming a pattern that you've familiarized yourself with and that you've known or that you know, and you got 5 tickers at the start of the day, they all start spiking and taking off. Wait, and then, all right, that one popped up and fell off. All right, that one's gone. Now you got 4.
STAF.
And
STAF.
then STAF came
STAF.
back.
STAF.
Look at
STAF. STAF. STAF.
Watch.
STAF.
Watch the ask here get eaten up. You got 15,000, and then it just disappeared. You had 15,000 pop up there, and then it disappeared. You see how it's dropping a little bit, though? Probably because that 15,000 share order scared off some buyers. But it just disappeared. That was a short seller flashing, or someone selling just a short size and he had a big order.
STAF.
Look at it
STAF.
go.
STAF.
This might get halted if it gets enough momentum. It's a 3.5 million float. This is going to be a super long video, guys. I'm sorry. But I hope you guys like it. This is a good video. That's why I keep it going. Look at this. That's why you never underestimate a chart when it spikes up like that and then drops down. You know, you can't be like, oh, what's spiking? What keeps spiking? You know, you want to familiarize yourself with patterns, and this had a really, really good chart pattern here. Let's do a little technical analysis on it. So you see how it's forming this wedge now, and it's pointing up. That means it was getting squeezed higher. So when it gets squeezed, people are shorting it, and they're overloading it with shorting. And when it comes up, and then when it finally breaks out, that's when all the shorts cover their positions, and you get that pop up. But you also got the buying also in this. So what I always look for is higher lows. That's what I always look for. Higher lows. Where's the resistance? Look back at the history. Is there any resistance? I'll go back a year, and then if the price is above the previous chart history, then I'll go back even further to see if there's any chart history. All for resistance levels. I'll see where the moving averages are. Even if you put your moving averages on the weekly and the monthly, it does work. I'm telling you. 1 year by the month, 1 year by the week. I have that up. So this is the weekly chart here. This is 1 year by the week. So every candle is 1 week. And now you got the 50-day moving average at 693. The 20 exponential moving average is at 375. And look at where the price is at, around 355. It's almost to that. So, no, I'm sorry, guys. I was going up here and it did it. It's at 377. Yeah, I was right. But then also look at the 1 year by the month. I know. Okay, I'm sorry. That last one was the 1 year by the month with the moving averages. And this one is the 1 year by the week. And as you can see right here, you see that blue line? The stock closed just below that line. Yeah, it popped it and went up, but then it came back down and it couldn't break above it, and it closed right below it, and that was at 280, 284. And then the next day it opens right above it, and then it, shot up. A lot of stuff to consider and look in when you're trading. That's why Timothy Sykes says he is a glorified history buff, because all you're doing is going back on chart history and looking at what it did. What's the support and resistance levels? Did it ever spike huge? When I'm looking at stocks, I always look back. All right, did it have a day or a couple days where it just spiked really huge? And what was the volume on those days? Okay, the volume was 30 million, and it had a ceiling resistance at $4. It could not break through $4. And then I'll look at where the price is at now and what's the volume. It's putting all of this stuff together and connecting the dots. And it may seem like a lot to do, but over time, if you keep practicing and practicing, you will get better. But, alright guys, this is the market recap for Wednesday, July 18th. I'm sorry guys, this video is super long. I just really like teaching you guys and showing you guys what to do. Leave a comment down below. Am I making these videos too long for you guys? Or do you guys like that I'm making these videos long and just filling them with all this information? Leave that comment down below. It means a lot to me. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I'm making these videos for you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. And also, I also have my own website, TradingLearning101.com. Feel free to check it out. I will be posting
CLPS,
all my trades on there, reviews of
CLPS,
products,
CLPS,
and I will be
CLPS.
linking my videos to that. And everything's linked to my website, even my Instagram and my Twitter, so you guys can follow me as a trader and see who I follow, other traders I follow. So um, that's tradinglearning101.com. Check it out, guys. It means a lot to me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, it means a lot. Later, guys.